Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of Coaching Conversations with Nick and Chris from UpCoach. Today, we're going to talk to you about how you can invest in yourself as an entrepreneur and develop your skills and knowledge as an entrepreneur, as well as growing your business at the same time. Hello and welcome back to Coaching Conversations with Nick and Chris. Today we are going to be talking about a topic that we speak with a lot of clients about when they first start with us at UpCoach, and it's all about investing in yourself as a business owner. You probably know as well as we do that if you don't continually invest in your own self, whether it's education, whether it's learning new things, whether it's courses, whether it's even investing in yourself physically through exercise or exercising your mind, then you can't evolve and grow. You stay as your current self. A lot of people struggle with this when they're trying to grow themselves, but then also grow their businesses at the same time. And there's I guess, a balanced trade-off, which they find difficult. Today, we want to answer that question. So before we do, Nick, how are you this morning?
Yeah, very well, thanks. It's going to be a really good week. I know we're busy, which is good.
Yes.
Monday, I think, is an interesting. We're talking about this topic today, and today, Mondays for me usually is not work in the business. Now, it's not, written in stone that I don't work in the business. So today is usually a work on the business. I've got a whole bunch of to-do lists that I need to get through. I usually go and exercise and do what I do. And today I've got a few sessions that are in there. There's sales sessions with people wanting to join us. So, there's You've got to have a really good balance, and I think this topic is really very in line with, what I usually do on a Mondays and on a Friday as well.
Right, cool. So I guess for anyone listening right now, you might be a business owner that you're on the tools a lot and you're working every day and you're finding it hard to separate yourself so that you can invest in yourself. You know that you should be investing in yourself in some way, whether it's through reading, whether it's through educating yourself, whether it's through having your own personal time to keep yourself fit and healthy. So if you're in this bucket and you're really struggling to want to get out to grow yourself as a business owner, what advice do you have for people that can start doing this process? And if I know it's not going to be instantaneous, you can't just, stop working Mondays and work on the business like you're in a position to do so, but what's some advice where they can actually start progressing that way and separate or find that balance as you spoke about?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think leading into this conversation, I think it's an evolution, not a revolution. You evolve slowly into this. You don't revolt overnight, and that's just how it is. It's taken me years to get to this level where I don't.
Yes.
So I think that's the important kind of premise. This takes time. I've written kind of 4 things on how to invest in yourself, but also run your business. And I think if I go through those, it'll just give a better insight on how to think and what to do, along this process.
Great.
This is a procedure just as much as, paying a bill or, installing a kitchen is. It's the same thing. It's just a procedure that you need to work on, right? But there's some nuances here because the human body's pretty bloody resilient. We can give it really bad fuel, mistreat it, don't give it any sleep, stress it out, and you're probably still going to last 70 or 80 years. So it's crazy, right? Now the quality of those 70 or 80 years might be a bit different, right? So in the back of our mind, it's not like if you don't exercise, you're going to die tomorrow. If you don't eat well, it's all over. If you work all night, it means that your ear's going to fall off or something like that. Like if you mistreated a car in the way that you mistreat your body, more than likely, wheels fall off or the engine won't start or whatever, right? So
yeah,
you've got to understand that it's almost like a paradox of thinking, it'll be all right, nothing major is going to happen. But interesting enough, if you had to pay a lot more money for, bigger clothes, 10 times the amount of money for bigger clothes, and maybe you'd look after your health a bit more and not put on so much weight.
I see. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
yes.
So number one, I think for us is to identify your why. Now, Simon Sinek spoke about a why from the perspective of purpose. What's the bigger purpose? In this case, to invest on yourself, I'm not going to go with purpose. I'm going to go with the why of why are you investing in yourself in the first place? I think there needs to be a balance between being selfish and selfless. And what I mean, whether, if you're going to do it for yourself or for others. And here's a perfect example. I was telling you, Saturday night, there was an opportunity for me to have a game of cards with some friends, and around 10:30 at night, we sort of started late, like we started at 9:15 or something like that. We had something to eat, had a chat, had a beer. And then we started playing, and the game sort of finished at about 10:30, first game, and then like setting up for the next. Anyway, they went on the party till like 4 in the morning or something. But I had a prior engagement the next day. I was going water skiing, which was yesterday. Needed to drive 2 hours and have the kids with me. So, one of those things for me was like, well, I'm being selfless from the perspective of, I don't want to let the kids down that I'm hungover or I'm too tired or, hey, we're not going, I've changed my mind. And I've had other people that are relying on me to come down. I prepared food and all of this stuff. Usually I take my boat, but I took somebody else's boat, my mate's boat, So there's that part. Now the selfish part, which is me, also goes, man, it shits me when I wake up and I feel tired and flat and a bit hungover or any of that stuff. So there's no chance ever that I'm going to, ever isn't the right word. There's a very small window of opportunity that I'm ever going to feel like that, because I'll stop well before feeling like that, I'm not saying that you need to be robotic and that's how it is, but for me, my priorities are really high. In other words, my why is really high. Add to that, I've had some health issues. I'm in really good shape now, fittest I've been pretty much throughout my life, which is really good, strong. Even though I've had, some heart issues and stuff, all of that's been, in check and all of those things. So there's the why for me is even bigger than this, to go, if I don't invest in myself, if I don't invest in my mental health, my emotional health, my physical and spiritual health, there's going to be consequences. I could head back down the same, path, get stressed out all the time, worry about money, eat shit, to drink alcohol, smoke weed, whatever it may be, any of these type of things, not hang out with the kids. And I've just realized that the outcome of that isn't where I want to be. So having your why is really, really big. You've got to try to figure out, why you're doing this. I just want to share another quick story. My brother-in-law that was obviously married to my sister, for years and years and years and years, he smoked. He worked for a tobacco company, so, smoke, pack a day, give or take, which a lot of people do. I used to do 2 packets a day, so I understand it. But was, overweight, big belly in front of him, just ate shit, didn't exercise. And he was always under this, well, if I die, I die. If I think, it's this, fuck it, I'm just going to eat. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to smoke. I'm going to drink, do all of this stuff. And funny enough, when he got sick because of his lungs, he had like scar tissue on the lungs, which literally felt like you're drowning for 4 years. It's the worst illness ever. I remember sitting with him at the end, lost all of this weight, was really skinny and looked really good, funny enough, when he lost all of this weight. But unfortunately, it was a death sentence, right? And, I could see towards the end there, especially in the last couple of weeks, we spoke about it and he said, man, like I should have thought about this differently, if only. And it was a genetic illness, so it's not something that he could have done, but maybe he could have, if he looked after his body more, exercised his life, done all of that stuff, So do you see sometimes the selfishness of us wasn't the right fucking path to go down, right? So
Sure.
Yeah, so identify your why, I think, is really important. And, if you're in a relationship with somebody else other than yourself, there's probably a big enough why to be selfless as well, or at least have a mix of selfless.
Right. So what you're saying is there obviously needs to be the balance. I love how you say selfless in regards to, well, you'd already committed to water skiing. Obviously the kids are looking forward to it. You're meeting friends and the like. So you need to be your best self for them, but also being selfish and really going, let's look after what you have because life's only so short, right? So it's about that kind of balance between the two.
Yeah, like you don't want to just do everything for everyone all the time. I've got a friend of mine that she's that. Everything for everyone all the time. It's like sometimes you got to selfish. It's all about self. If you can't, I love the saying, you can't be, sick enough, stupid enough, or broke enough to help anybody. Joe Polly says it. Like it's perfect. Sick enough, stupid enough, or broke enough. Like you just can't.
Yeah, that's right.
If you're sick, you can't help them. If you're broke, you can't help everyone. And if you're stupid, you can't help anyone either. So, like, makes logical sense that you look after you as well as
that's true.
Somebody else. So.
Okay, very good. All right. So discovering the why for investment in yourself. That's good. What's the second point?
The second point, I think, is set some non-negotiables. And non-negotiables are powerful. I mean, we by the way, we all have non-negotiable things like I'm not going to drink during the week. Non-negotiable. Things like I need to, have a shower every day. Non-negotiable. We already do this. I don't like peas. Non-negotiable. Whatever. Right? There's all of these non-negotiables that we have. Like the toilet seat up. Like little nuances of non-negotiables. We all have it. No, I'm not going to be. If you're a heterosexual man, no, I'm not going to get into a homosexual relationship. Non-negotiable. Even if people offer me money. No, I'm not going to sell my soul out to the devil for money. Whatever, like that. There's all of these really powerful non-negotiables. I'm not going to cheat on my wife. All of these things that there's no written law. You're not going to get arrested for it. But, you got a conscience, and that conscience, conscience kind of says, hey, don't do it, dude. Like, don't be uncool, whatever. Right? So there's not some non-negotiables. Now, the reverse to that is that you can create non-negotiables. And for me, as an example, because I want to invest in myself and while I still run a bloody business, a non-negotiable is I usually Mondays, I don't like to work with clients, or, Fridays, usually half day, don't like to work with clients. That's a non-negotiable. Another non-negotiable is, that I exercise every day in some way, shape, or form, whether it's walking the dog, whether it's Krav Maga, whether it's personal training, whether it's gym doing cardio, whether it's ski boat, whether it's, jumping in the surf with the kids, whatever. As long as I'm moving 7 days a week, I'm cool. That's a non-negotiable. And sometimes, I give the family the shit because I just want to relax in front of the TV. And I'm like, come on, let's go for I'll use the dog as the excuse. So I think really setting a level of non-negotiables is critical. Now, a non-negotiable is not written in stone. And, once again, you're not going to, get arrested, or you're not going to die if you don't do it. So you've kind of got to be cool from the perspective of trying to stick to it as much as you can. And some people call it routines, but I think it's actually one step higher. Non-negotiable is, hey, there's no, if or but around it. I'm going to exercise. So, and let me give you the difference in psychology. Psychology says, where it comes to holiday, don't worry about the non-negotiable. You're like on holidays, it's cool, I'll eat shit and don't exercise. And where we even if I do eat shit, I'm still exercising because that's a non-negotiable. I'm more lenient on the food part of it than I am as the from the exercise part of it. And people are crazy. They're like, dude, you're on holiday. I'm still up at 6 o'clock on a holiday, and I'll go for a walk, run, swim, push weights, whatever it may be. And dude, you've traveled with me enough to know that regardless of where we're at.
That's true. Yeah.
Up at 5 doing it, right? Because it feels like 8 o'clock our time here in Sydney. So, having really good, strong non-negotiables as a base is cool, because when you start to identify your why and the mix of selfish and selfless, right, I think, then the non-negotiables come into it. I know that through these non-negotiables, they're getting me closer to the goal. And interesting enough, I think when you invest in yourself, don't set goals from the perspective of, I'm looking just to reach the goal, and once I've reached it, that's it. This is a continuous work in progress. It's almost like the way of the warrior, or the samurai way. Samurai is the study of the art, not the study of perfection or towards perfection. Now, in saying that, you'll never ever reach perfection. It's unattainable from that perspective, but it's more around the art itself, which is kind of cool because you're enjoying the practice or the way of it. It's crazy to think like that, but that's kind of how it is, right? You're practicing the way rather than the art itself. Now, just while I'm
Right.
thinking about it, there's a really cool video you can watch. They made it into a movie. There's a cool movie you can watch, or a book you can read called Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan
Sure.
Millman. Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. And basically it talks about, certain non-negotiables that they have through that. And they've elegantly put it into a film. I think the book's better, or the audio's really cool because it's read by Dan Millman as well. So
Cool.
if people want to get into it, they can. So, like I said, it's the practice rather than the destination of I've reached it, so.
Got it. Okay, good. Non-negotiables. That's really good. Next step.
The next one, I think, part 3 is have massive accountability, internally and externally. So for me, here's a perfect example. My accountability externally is, A, I've paid for Krav Maga. B, I've paid for my personal training. There's my instructor at Krav. There's some of my people I train with. There's my gym instructor that I, see and I don't want to let down. There's then external people, like obviously my family and my kids and, you guys, my work colleagues, all of those things. There's some external non-negotiable, there's some external accountability there. It's like when you don't show up and people are expecting you. It's kind of not cool because you've just let them down. We're going to meet at 7 and I'll rock up at 10. I mean, that never happens, but, like my mates do that, hey man, like, dude, you're an hour late. Oh, shit happened. I just woke up. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, my time's precious. External accountability, whether it's in the form of money or letting people down, I think is cool. Now, and the next one is internal, and this may sound really weird, right? But I use this, and I reckon there's millions of people, if not billions of people that use this type of accountability. First, if I don't do it, I get this whole FOMO thing, right? Fear of missing out, shit.
Missing out.
I get it, and then I get really guilty internally, like stupid shit. Like I'm sitting on the couch, like, I don't know, watching the TV where I could be out exercising or, being productive in some way, shape or form. Now I get it, and I get it's kind of a bit weird and you also need to relax and all of that stuff. But for me, that internal accountability of self to go, hey, dude, get up, what are you doing? I'll just sleep till 10 today, I'll have that extra, I don't know, half a cake, I'll eat that shit, smoke, 4 joints instead of 1, all of the, drink till I'm oblivion. Like I said, my mates till 4:30. I'm like, dude, you guys got kids and all, like it didn't even enter my level of thinking because that wouldn't happen. You know what I mean? And I get it. People go, you got to live in the moment and stuff. But to me, see, my why is way too strong just to even think that way, right? So for people, I'm trying to tell you, it's an evolution, not a revolution. It takes conditioning to do this, just like a gym does, or exercise does, or learning a language does, or doing a job, or I don't know, building a rocket, whatever, right? So, so I think having a massive level of internal or external accountability. Now, if it means that it's a guilt trip that you've got internally, which eventually gets you to start doing stuff, like if you're overweight and you go, man, if I eat that, McDonald's burger and I eat that 6-pack of donuts and all of this, if guilt's the way that it works for you, man, I'm cool with that. The book says, don't let it be guilt, just let it be love and drive and, all of that stuff. And I'm like, you know what? That's just shit. If that's the only drive that you can have. If you're already in a place where you're not even, thinking positively about all the amazing things that can happen once you exercise, you're, 100 kilos overweight. If means being guilty goes, hey man, if I don't do this, I'm about to, die, or they're going to take me in for cardiac surgery, or, I'm going to not be there for my kids next year, or whatever it is. If guilt is the only way for you to get up and get your fat ass out of there, well, so be it. You know what I mean? Like we've lately just made everything so perfectly, bullshit. Like it's insane. Give all of these, rewards to people that come 31st. Oh, it's cool. You're just a contribution award or something.
Participation.
Participation award. I'm like, you're not doing people any favors with this. First, second, third. That's how we grow. That's how we push. If it's guilt to go, I'm going to get in there and show them, but so be it. This is what's created amazing people, that we've seen that you go, How? One arm missing, one leg missing, a shark attack, and they've gone on to inspire millions. They didn't let that kill them. Stuff in war, missing half a face. And this, the people get burnt in bushfires, but they come out and inspire millions, it just needs to be whatever drives you, go for it. And that's why accountability is ability to be accountable for self. That's the word, the ability to be accountable for self. So whether it's through, FOMO or through, hey, it's all love and, rainbows, whatever works for you, go for it, but be accountable.
Got it. Great, good. And lastly, the final point.
Last one, I think it's important to kind of measure your results. It feels good when you measure your results, whether it kind of feels bad from the, oh man, I've put on a few more kilos over the Christmas break, or the bank account's not looking as healthy because I've been bludgeoned a bit too much, or hey, I haven't sort of semi-learned that language, or I've been doing my renovation for 6 years. Whatever it is, I think it's important for you to be able to measure it, right? And how do you measure it? Whatever it takes for you to be able to see your progress. For me, it's not just how physically fit I am, it's how mentally fit I am, and how content I am and happy I am. I think these are very important measures. How do you measure happiness? Well, if you don't wake up with the shits every day, it's kind of a cool level of happiness. If something doesn't drag you down all day, well, sounds like you're doing okay. If you don't have thoughts of kind of murdering people, well, maybe your head's in the right place. You know what I mean? Like, it could be that. And it's interesting. I think you need to take account of the people that you hang out with, the languaging that you're using, the mindset that you have, and the communication and interaction with self and others. I think these are really important,
Those are very good points.
That's a good way to measure it. I measure myself with the success of my friends and what they do in life. Are they happy? Tick. Can we get together and have a beer and hang out? Tick. And I'm not a big drinker, but, I like the socializing aspect of it. Number 3, hey, can we go away at least 3 or 4 times a year? For 3 days here, 4 days here. No, it doesn't need to be any major holidays. Can we all eat together and enjoy ourselves? Can I go out to a, fancy restaurant one a week if that's what I want to do? Can I go out and, I don't know, buy T-shirts if I want to? They're not big things. It's not, oh, am I buying a jet this week? For some people, that's their caliber of measurement. And I'm down with that. But, if I'm investing in myself, I've also got to understand that, what makes me happy isn't always material. Sometimes intrinsically it feels good, And for us, we get the biggest buzz ever when we go, hey, a client, has got an amazing result. They closed this deal.
Yeah.
Yes, they just had a baby and they were able to take time off. All of these little things. And we also really enjoy it when they re-sign with us. It means that we've done a good job. They're happy, we're happy. It's win-win all the way around, So it's an interesting measure of success if you want to think about it like that, So,
Very good.
The ability to measure results, I think, is critical.
Cool. That's great. So for anyone that's listening to this, struggling to try and find a way to invest in themselves outside of work, and grow their business at the same time. Nick listed those kind of 4 key areas there. I'm going to get you to run through those quickly again, Nick, but he said at the very beginning that it does take time. It's not going to be instant fix. So just focus on maybe one small thing and see how you can implement that form of change into your routine or your week. So if you can roll them back out to us, Nick, those 4 again.
Yeah. So number 1 is identify your why. Why is it important for you?
Why you investing? Yep.
Number 2 is set non-negotiables. I think that's really important. They're better than just routines, right?
Yeah.
Number 3 is have massive accountability, both internally or externally. And number 4 is, measure your results in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, very good. And it's small steps, guys. If you need help with this, you can reach out to us, by the way. Reach out to us at askitupcoach.com.au. Would be happy to chat to you or even give you some more advice offline to actually help you get on your way. Thank you very much once again, Nick.
Thank you.
And thanks so much for watching and listening. We'll speak to you all again real soon. Bye now.
Bye for now.